Hey everybody, this is Cavill76, and I'm here to talk about my battle belt and the WTFix attachment system from Esstac. So this is an HSGI laser cut slim grip battle belt. I have one of their inner belts in it as well, which is their 1.75 rigger belt. And I decided to try out the Esstac pouches. These are the Esstac shorties. And as part of that, Esstac offered a WTFix attachment. There's not a lot out there on it that I've seen other than a tutorial video on using it to be threaded, but it wasn't really detailed either. And if you go to their site, Esstac simply says it's an alternative to the mouse clip. It's better, trust us. And Esstac has a great reputation. I thought I'd give it a shot and see how it worked. And unfortunately, it was not optimal for this particular belt and running the mag pouches. And I'll explain why. This belt is the slim grip version, so it only has 2 rows of molle in this thinner section of the belt, which is much of the belt. The back panel is higher, and so it has a full 3 rows of molle available, but obviously you're going to run your mag pouches, at least in part, at kind of between the 3 and 6 o'clock, and so you're going to be constrained by 2 rows of molle. And when I set out to use these attachments, very problematic both from an install perspective and then the resultant security. But I'll let you be the judge. So I'm going to turn it around. It's the texture of a rubber band in terms of how it feels, so that kind of tacky, sticky feel. It is stretchable, not to the extent of a conventional rubber band, but definitely has some stretch and give to it. And it's very thin and very lightweight. And so Esstac also markets that as, if it protrudes, it won't dig into your back or other things. And I think that's true. The challenge here is that specifically with this battle belt and trying to mate a pouch that is 3 rows, so if you were to look all the way down this pouch, this is the shorty version, the shortest version, still has 3 rows of webbing. And on the battle belt, there's only effectively 2 rows of webbing. So one of the first challenges I had was how do you even mate those regardless of the attachment type, conventional mouse, clip, or whatever you're using. I came across a video that described a technique but didn't really illustrate it, but it was enough for me to figure it out, or at least I believe I did, and I was able to get a fairly secure lock in on these pouches against the battle belt with this modified threading technique. I'm going to do a separate video just on that because I saw others that were trying to get a sense of how to do this, and I can't imagine I'm the only person. It's a fairly popular battle belt, and I'm sure others have tried to deal with this. I'm a civilian. I don't have a military or tactical background, and so maybe the threading techniques, are common knowledge and for other people, but for myself, I had to kind of look online and take some tutorials. In any case, the issue I have with the WTFix in this specific part of the belt is that because there is no 3rd row of molle, I can have quite a bit of give here away from the body because this is just super thin kind of rubbery material, and you can see there's quite a bit of play I can pull back from the belt. I'm going to contrast that with somewhat conventional mouse clips. These are mouse clips that I repurposed from my dump pouch that I'll show you in a minute. That's a Tactical Tailor Fight Light dump pouch, and it includes their Fight Light short mouse clips. And these are more of a rigid plastic. Again, I use this modified threading technique, but because these mouse clips are rigid, they act almost kind of like a virtual row of webbing. And it's not perfect. Obviously, there's not something going through here, but it's stiff enough to provide some kind of more secure attachment towards the belt. So you can see here, not a lot of movement. And I compare that to here. This thing really flops out. Particularly, you think about inserting and removing magazines. that you're going to have a lot of top pull force up here, and this is going to act like a pivot point down here when it's not as secured because of the 2 rows of webbing. So you get a little side-to-side move, but that's just indicative of the HSGI belt because they have the webbing sectioned in this laser cut, but not that much. So in my mind, and for my initial use, I think I prefer the conventional mouse clip when trying to mate 3-row mag pouches from Esstac and probably others to a 2-row webbing configuration on the HSGI. Now, the other challenge I had with the WTFix attachment, it was on the install. And it was significantly different experience between running these mouse clips through and trying to thread, again, with the same threading pattern technique, if you will. It was markedly more difficult and time-consuming. Now, maybe with practice that would get easier, but these pouches, the webbing's really tight to the pouch material. So it's not like there's a lot of, you really have to pull on the webbing to create some space. And then the belt itself, with the inner belt installed, while it has a little more room to get through the webbing, it's still fairly tight. And of course, as you thread and get towards that very end, there's just the space between the pouch and the belt decreases, and you've got very little room to maneuver and work with. And operating on these WTFix attachments was almost like pushing on string. So there was really no way to get the purchase or leverage, kind of manipulate and take the attachment through. Oftentimes I had to resort to pliers because it would just kind of get hung up in the webbing because it's not rigid. It's somewhat flimsy, and that's not to say it's not mechanically strong. It appears to be. But in any case, there was another video out there with somebody demonstrating the WTFix and had spoke with Esstac supposedly, and they had indicated that using pliers was okay and that they do it themselves. So, I just for all those reasons, at least with these pouches and mating 3 to 2 rows of webbing, I thought the mouse clips were much superior, but your experience may be different or your needs may be different. Now let me show you a place where I did like the WTFix attachment, and that's over here on my dump pouch. So I repurposed those attachments because I'd taken these mouse clips off the Tactile Tailor dump pouch, which is what this is, and I put them over here on the back panel. And this is actually pretty secure. I mean, you can see this doesn't move very far off the belt. I like that there's some give here, particularly for this dump pouch, where I might need to have it in different configurations and bulky items in here. And I like that it has some give in this case, a little bit of stretch, if you will, in terms of the attachment, but not very much. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with the fact that I have an appropriate row of webbing, that mates between the dump pouch and the belt, because this belt has an extra row in the back panel, and so I think that was the main reason why it feels a lot more secure. And it's a case where I do like it, and I'm gonna continue to run with this and see how it works going down the road. This is all part of a series I'm going to call the New Guy series of videos around my build of both rifle and tactical rig setups for somebody new to this part of the community. And please come back and see those as well. Until then, thanks.